Call the meeting to order. Judy, roll call, please.
Gary Bailey.
Present.
John Dooley.
Here.
Kevin Whipple.
Here.
Bill Ursus.
Here. Approval of the agenda. There are two changes. Mr. Tribett will be on the agenda above Paul Shaffer. And then below the airport manager's report, we'll have review of the budget and approval. And Mr. Dooley should have handed that out to you. Okay. Judy, the minutes, has everybody had a chance to read them? There were some corrections, and Judy will tell you what the corrections are. If you need it. Oh, really? Did you? Judy? The corrections?
Corrections were primarily to Mr. Tribett's comments at the last meeting. The only paragraph that was not changed, I believe, was the last, second.
Third paragraph, the last.
Well, on this I switched to one.
Oh.
It's the second to the last paragraph. That one was not changed about the litigation and going to trial. But if you want, would you like me to read the
Correction.
Don Tribett reported that payments of the court-appointed appraisers, as approved by the board on April the 27th, 2020, were made to the clerk of the Decatur Circuit Court on April the 28th, 2020. On April the 29th, 2020, Judge Day signed the orders Tribett had tendered declaring the GBOAC the owner of the properties being condemned and directing that the auditor transfer those properties to the GBOAC on the tax rolls. Paul Shaffer submitted the 4 orders to the FAA to show that the GBOAC had acquired the properties and is eligible for a grant this year. And then the other change paragraph, comment made by John, the question asked by John Dooley. John Dooley asked Mr. Tribett if all 4 property owners had signed the farm leases approved by the board for the 2020 crop year. Tribett stated that to date he had received 2 signed leases, and the other 2 are reportedly on their way. I mean, those should be the 2 major changes.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as amended.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Financial report, John.
Okay, financial report for the Greensburg Municipal Airport. We have the 3 accounts. In the airport improvement account, our current balance $32,923.25. In aviation order refuel, our current balance $55,538.31. In airport operations, $94,500.02. The total of all 3 accounts, $182,961.58. We have the Jackson County Bank. Yeah.
You should all have 3 sheets from Jackson County Bank.
Our principal balance due at Jackson County Bank is $1,768,478.79.19. That leaves our available credit, a very similar amount, $1,731,520.81.
Next, Mr. Tribett, you're up.
I'll be brief, very brief.
Okay.
I'm gonna punt over here to Paul in a minute. But I think the reason Bill put me on there was because we have acquired the necessary title, we feel, to satisfy the FAA on the 4 property owners that are must-have properties. You can't construct a runway without those properties. But there are remaining properties that need to be acquired for runway protection zone and the like. Plus there's some trees. So there's a mix of fee simple title properties that are needed and some aviation easements. So I was asked last week whether I thought we should go ahead and proceed. My preference is to get started as soon as possible, because that way I think it puts me in less of a bind if we end up and actually get into construction. And you can't open the runway with some of those, even though the runway's not gonna lie on the property. So I would prefer to have more time rather than less. At the same time, I think we have to be concerned, obviously, about the money that Jackson County Bank and what you have, going to have available. I made a joke with Paul Shaffer, I won't repeat it because it's a little off color. But I really don't care when you start the process. I know that sometimes these things can drag out, and so like I said earlier, the sooner, from my standpoint, the better. So I'm just gonna sit down and turn it over to Paul, because I think Paul's better equipped to tell you what the properties are and answer any questions you may have. So it's good to see you guys in person. Good to see you guys in person today.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Paul.
Okay, I guess I'll start with the property, and I apologize, I wasn't really 100% prepared to talk. I should have brought handouts for everybody, but I'll kind of walk us around. I'll start on this side of the room here. This is the properties that we just got through with, these colored parcels here. And all these other circles represent other parcels that we need for aviation easements.
I could leave this.
Yes.
This is my
Hey,
copy.
Paul,
Paul?
in the information that I gave them, there's a list of the property owners,
Okay.
how much they own, is what we need.
Okay.
Do they have, did they
Yeah,
get
I
the
think
map?
Yeah,
Did you get this?
We did not get that.
I don't need it.
We have this.
I gave them that one.
Well, let's just, I'll just leave this out here.
All right.
Don't need this discussion.
Sure.
I don't need it.
And I'll put this one on that side. So these parcels, the ones that are shaded are the ones that we just got the court award on. The remaining parcels, there are 13 parcels of varying degrees of size, but those 13 parcels there's only parcel 2, 3, and 7 are the only remaining ones in fee, and they're all pretty small, 0.06 acres, 4.05 acres, and 0.8 acres. Those are the only remaining parcels to buy in fee simple. The rest of them are all aviation easements, which are tree trimming and or approach control. Some of those parcels don't even have anything that we need to trim in there, but the FAA just wants us to have that in the future so we can control the airspace over those parcels. So what I'd like to propose tonight is it takes us 60 to 90 days to get the surveying all done on those parcels based on how long it took us to survey those previous 4. So we'd like to go ahead and start the surveying process at this time, and then when we get that all in, you can decide which ones you want to go to appraisal on once we get the survey back.
Yeah, these are the remnant properties, so to speak.
Right.
After
And
the four, yeah.
so to refresh your memory on what our best guess on when the runway will open is in the fall of 2022 is the earliest it could open based on when FAA monies come together. So we've got a good long head start on this one based on how long it took us on the others. But we don't want to wait till the last minute, so we thought let's go ahead and initiate that.
Make a motion, we go ahead and start serving.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
The other items, I've got I'll report on the project status, and then I've got an action item for the grant application because we'll need to turn that in before you meet the next time. The issue will be is that there are some variables in that grant application. Now that packet I handed out to you at the beginning of the meeting has the cover page with the grant application on there. And this is if you'll recall, in 2020, all of the grants are going to be 100% funded from the FAA. So there are some of the phase 2 design stuff, paving and lighting. So rather than just funding construction inspection, we are putting some of the paving and lighting design for next year into this year in the attempt to get it while it's 100% match. So we're trying to go ahead and throw that in here this year. We're hoping we get good bids in. You know, I don't really want to disclose the amount of the bids that we're hoping to get in because it's still on the street right now. But what I would be on page 3 of this, you can kind of see the total the total ask that we would ask for. The reality, and let's see. The reality is it's probably going to be about $2 million less than that. So we, right now, the total ballpark way out in left field, high would be $7 million. $7,072,417 is what our ask could be. We really anticipate it being closer to a 5, 5.5 with all of the soft costs on inspection, engineering, and the contractor's cost estimates, or actual bids that when they come in. So what I'm looking for tonight is we'd like to submit this. We're going to open the bids on the 29th, which is next Monday, at 2 o'clock. We'll take that information, we'll review it, and then on July 1st, I'd like to submit the grant application. So what I'm asking the board today is to allow Bill to sign the grant application executed on July 1st for an amount not to exceed this grant application amount. It'll most likely be less. We'll populate it with the actual numbers when they come in, and then we'll report back on what the final numbers were in the next meeting. But that'll position us to be able to get that application into the FAA and hopefully get a grant here before September. So that's what we're looking for at this time. With respect to the project has really gotten a lot of good attention. We have 18 plan holders besides all the agency plan holders. Out of those, we would anticipate we have at least 5 contractors that are definitely prime bidders. Could be as high as 10 if all of the primes who are on the list could bid it, which is excellent competition for this size of project. So that's really good. We've gotten some good questions on the project, but you know, nothing too out of line. So people seem to be excited about it, and we're hoping for really good numbers based on that amount of competition for sure.
Do you need a motion for Bill to go ahead and sign that
Yes.
application and then we can execute it July 1st?
Yes, please.
I so make that motion, have the president sign it.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote on this, Judy.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Kevin Whipple,
Yes.
Glenn Bueller,
Yes.
Bill Armstrong.
Yes. Okay. While we're on this subject, Don, could you address the zoning?
Yeah, I didn't bring,
You told me ahead of time, you asked me.
no, the question had come up about zoning requirements, and what I had pointed out to Bill and the mayor is there is a statute in effect for boards of aviation commission. Well, there's a series of statutes, and one of those says that the eligible entity that owns the airport has exclusive zoning jurisdiction over the airport property. So I know that there had maybe been some discussion. I know back years ago that the county had indicated that it would cooperate on zoning with the airport. But don't see an issue through our zoning because of the statute. The statute says you have, the city has the zoning authority, so, that's what it is. I mean, it is what it is. So. If anybody would like, I'd be more than happy to provide any of the board members with, when I discuss some of these things, sometimes things move quickly. But if you want copies of any of this, I'll be glad to supply them.
Anything else, Paul?
No, that's, thank you.
Next, airport manager, Jerry's not here, and he asked me to represent him, so I'm representing Jerry. In your things that I gave you, there's a thing from King Blasting to sandblast the top of the 100 low lead tank at a price of $695, and do the whole tank at $1,045. Now Jerry told me he'd first just sandblast the top, and then Steel Chariot Concepts would bull hide it with this black rubber on top of it for an additional, for $650, and then Kinet Painting for $1,832 would paint the entire 100 low lead tank, and it is needing some work and attention on the top. You see the top of it, John?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Why do we need to paint the top though if we're gonna put the bullhide spray on?
So it'll all be white.
It's so, so
Yes.
it's all matching color?
Right,
Okay,
right.
okay. So that, I know that bullhide spray does
Yes.
not need to be, has to be, it doesn't have to be painted on it.
Yeah, I had a school bus bull hide top once, and they spray painted white, and there was dew that night, and they repainted the whole bus as it ran down the side. So what's your thoughts on it, gentlemen? It definitely needs something done to the top of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay. It's-
If we're gonna paint the whole tank though, how much surface rust have we got on the rest of it though?
Very little on the sides, just on the top.
What about the bottom?
We won't be able to get to the bottom of it. We would have to pump the tank out and tip it over.
No, you think the bottom, the lower part.
Oh, the sides,
No,
Sorry.
I'm at the bottom of
the
the
bottom,
tank.
bottom.
The bottom of the tanks, a lot of time, what I'm getting at, Bill, is from previous experience, when you get moisture in a tank, it goes to the bottom. And that's where you're gonna start getting your rust through. And if we don't do anything with the bottom of it, are we, what are we gonna prevent here? And do we have a way to, have we ever drained any of the moisture out of it? Have we ever checked it for moisture?
Yeah, we checked it for moisture,
Okay, have we ever drained any moisture out of it?
not that I know of.
Is this the one with the stir?
No, that's the,
That's the Jet A.
that's the Jet A.
Yeah. I'm just,
I know
I'm
what
just
you're
bringing up
saying.
some points that we might wanna
Mhm.
have some other things checked as well,
Well, we would have to, if we did it, we'd have to get it down and pump it out and tip it. Internally, it's supposed to have a coating on it anyway.
Right,
Internally.
most of them do,
Right.
or the bigger ones anyway.
Mhm.
I don't know how urgent it is, I wouldn't mind tabling it just so I can actually go out and look at it more carefully myself.
That's fine.
I
It's not
think-
urgent, it's not urgent.
I like that idea, and maybe talk to Jerry and see if, if there is something that's been done as far as draining moisture, or if we can drain the moisture, or, I realize taking that thing down and tipping it's gonna be, a lot more expensive, but, if we put all this money into the top and the sides, and the bottom's what gets out on us, then we've kinda wasted our money, so that's what I'm trying to get at, I guess. But
If that happens, then we're gonna have to replace the whole thing with a new fuel system. I imagine.
Well, yeah, yes, if it would completely give out, but if we can get ahead of it, it might not
idea how old it is. We bought it from, Gator Air. Well,
Do we
why
know-
don't we table it and, if you all take go out, look at it and ask Jerry and whatever, so let's
I
table it then.
I think that'd be a good idea.
You know which,
Okay.
you know which one's below that tank, don't you? Okay.
It's vertical. Okay, we'll table that one, Judy. Next, the budget. John, you want to talk about the budget, please?
Yeah, the budget I passed out, here's got, it's not labeled as budget, it's 2018, 19, 20, 21, right here. The mayor called, not long ago and gave us a few days, he needed the budget numbers ahead of time, so we presented those to him. However, doesn't need board approval, so if there's any changes the board makes, we have to withdraw what we submitted in and resubmit. But I put it in the 2021 column. Obviously, some of those figures are the same, some are more, some are less. We judged that by looking at our past expenditures in those areas and made adjustments accordingly. The total budget you see at the bottom is within $700 of the previous year in 2020, but we need to submit the budget for the airport to city council. And what I put in the 2021 columns, after reviewing all our figures and expenditures, is what I put in there. So we need board approval.
John,
Yes.
Mayor, really quickly.
You may.
So, good evening, everybody. You do need to approve it, but I know it's kind of just thrown on you. We don't necessarily need it now.
Understand.
It just needed to be sent to our accountant so that they could get it in the book. We don't actually approve our budget until the end of July. So if you want some more time or go through something, don't feel like you have to decide tonight. If you want to, totally fine.
Gotcha.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're pretty confident in these numbers?
I feel very confident. Put some time in them and look them over.
Yeah, they look good when we put them on paper.
The only question I have is with construction going on that we're gonna have, is that going to change maybe like any utility service numbers? Or what about insurance? Are we gonna have further liability? Are we gonna have to cover more liability insurance wise, anything like that?
It should,
No, you should.
We anticipate for sure, this is a grading phase, so you won't really have any additional operation costs. There'll be contractors occupying the property for the next 2 years, basically, while we build it. When the runway is completed, the estimates on electrical usage for the lighting will all be actually less than the existing system that you have now, because it's gonna be all LED lights, so it'll be a fraction of the power draw that you actually have now. So the only operational cost I think that we forecasted going up with the new runway would be the mowing and snow removal. Now the mowing, a lot of airports are putting that in hay. So a lot of times you can get a farmer to take off the grass in hay and not really have an expense there. So really,
Even with the grading phase, then we won't have any like temporary electric service out there for contractors?
there will be temporary electric service, but it'll be the contractor.
It'll be the contractors. Okay.
Yeah, it's included in their bid price until
Okay.
it'll all be turned over to you in the fall of '22, which will have a new electrical bulb, and we'll turn off the old runway lights at that time. The new runway lights will come on, and even though there's more of them, more runway lights,
Right.
they each draw about 1/10 of the power of your existing system now.
one other thing, in the CARES Act that came out, we're planning on using the $30,000 that we're getting to buy fuel. And all we'll have to do is show a ticket to the FAA that that's what we used it on, which will save us approximately $30,000 in fuel costs next year.
Answer my questions, if you're confident in
Sure.
the numbers, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm confident in the numbers.
I make a motion to accept the budget as presented and presented as
Second.
Roll call please, Judy.
Gary Beal,
Yes.
John Dewey,
Yes.
Kevin Whipple,
Yes.
Billy.
Yes. Okay, approval of the bills. John passed out his spreadsheet on that. The total is $3,728.90.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, something to explain on that. You'll notice that there are two figures boxed in there. One's the Indiana Department of Revenue, the other's the water. In that we were billed for last month's and this month's on this cycle for both of those, for both of those. And that, so we were paid both May and June Indiana Department of Revenue, and same thing on the water. That's why the box was in there. And then when you add those figures, those two figures for May, then our figure comes out right at the bottom of the total in June 2020. But that's our summary of our bills for this month, including the May figures from those two items.
Make a motion to approve payment bills.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Judy.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
John Duke,
Yes.
Evan Whipple,
Yes.
Bill Morrison.
Yes. Next is signed documents. After the meeting, up at the mayor's desk, there are a bunch that we have to sign from the virtual meetings that we had. So we'll have a bunch of signs as exercise your arm, if you will. Let's move on down to comments from the board or the audience. Anybody have anything they'd like to comment on? Okay. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting, the next meeting, July 27th, 2020.
I make the motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.